Hey, welcome to another episode of the Drive Marketing. And Corey and I tonight are joined by Mr. Brandon Callis, BKC Cattle, here in the great state of Oklahoma. Brandon, good to have you on.
Good to be here, guys. Glad y'all could set this up, and I think what y'all are doing is tremendous, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. I know when I saw you the other night, it was just funny. We live a couple hours away and ran into each other. Our kids played basketball against each other, of all things. Our kids aren't built for the court, are they?
No, not really.
But he was. Hey, we had a really good conversation watching our boys compete against each other, and he brought this up. Said I'd really love to do one of these, and we're going to make it happen tonight, Corey. So, Brandon, real quick, tell us. We all know who you are. For those that don't, tell us about yourself and your wife and your kids and what's going on in Mustang, Oklahoma.
Just really, I guess, new page, new chapter of life. I coached judging teams for 16 years and was all about. It's fitting, I guess. I follow your guys there the other night with your judging team deal. That's all I ever knew. And slowly behind the scenes, we were building this cow herd. As I was on the road coaching, I should say my wife was building a cow herd. And we kind of got things now, the genetics that we're wanting to push, cow families that we really believe in. And this is our first real offering. I know we've had some other online sales, but this is the first real offering that comes from the heart of the herd. Just some of our big cow families that we love. The kids didn't like it as much as far as letting some of these go, but I tried to understand to them that they're wanting a new barn and it don't build itself, so they got to sell a few of these to kind of
Yeah,
bankroll that and get it going.
you bet.
Yeah, you
In
bet.
terms of the genetic base of your herd, Brandon, mostly Semital influence cow herd.
Yeah, mostly Semital and just about all of our springborns. I'd say 95% of them will be Semital influenced. We do have some club calves we market there in the spring as fall borns. And so that's mainly what we have with our fall calving herd. And honestly, a few of our semi donors, we'll let them calve in the fall just to kind of keep them fresh before we go to flushing on them if it worked or not. But yeah, primarily springborns will be Simmental sire, Simmental influence cattle.
You bet.
That's
Absolutely.
good. Good deal. So as you were traveling the country, you say building what is now BKC. Um, what were you drawn to anything particular genetic wise or an outfit or something? What where did you find the happy medium for this is what I like and what I want to build from?
It kind of all started in college. Her and I, Kelly and I, my wife, started dating there our freshman year at Connors, and then just always had a passion. Always knew both of us wanted to raise cattle, and again, I call it our first joint purchase, but really she wrote the check for it. It was a little heifer that was raised by a guy in Shakota. We give $800 for that heifer, or she did, and um, heck, there's a couple of ones in here that kind of stem back to that original female, and a couple of back to her I guess show heifers. And so really the Simmental deal started with her. She in high school showed a few semis and fell in love with them, and then once I got to K State, honestly, and got hooked up with Dr. Shockey and Calvin Drake and Ralph Brooks and the Hoffmans and Michael Dykeman, just all those Simmental wealth and royalty around Manhattan, Kansas, that yeah, I had no choice but to love them, and kind of got into it and started studying the breed. And probably where we really probably focused or shaped us. Saw Broker for the first time. Got to judge him as a calf, and then got to judge him as a big bull. And I knew I wanted that. That's still in my mind one of the most influential and just changing cattle industry bulls that's ever good Lord ever made and designed was Broker. And so there's a lot of him in the background of this. And then uh, like a lot of things start with a pipe dream. I was talking to our good buddy Brandon Horn one time and telling him I wanted to raise a different kind of Simmental, something that had some power and performance like we seen in the old school Simmentals at that time. I thought we were getting away from that, But I wanted to correct the feet and leg stigma that was there as far as them being quote unquote tight pasturing or leg draggers and things like that. I wanted a powerful built animal that could function and go. And I wanted to be able to run any circle around a narrow, pretty one with just a lot more power, but the same kind of balance and presence. And so that's what we're building towards. That's what I hope you'll see featured here in a few of these. But yeah, Brandon told me he had this cow that is a Semital, and I told him, no, not a club calf one. Like, I want a real Semital. And I was out of his place one day, and he said, hey, that cow with the starburst over there on her side, he goes, that's the one I was talking about. That's a Semi. And I kind of looked and I could see it, and I let me take her home, and I ran blood test on her, and sure enough, she went back to the bulls. He said she went back to, and she ends up being a triple bred buck. I don't know if you're all familiar with the old school buck. Yeah.
That's back when I was in high school.
Being a triple bred buck, and we flushed her to driver, got 2 bulls and 2 heifers, sold one of the heifers to kind of pay for the flush, kept a little moderate baldy that everybody thought was just a little small, and we call her Boss Lady. She's got 20 daughters. She's got like 20 daughters in our herd now, and we kind of based everything off of her, and she mixed really well with broker. There's a couple of lots in here to go back to a broker Boss Lady daughter. In fact, the embryos we're offering are a result of that as well. So yeah, it's been a neat journey how it's all kind of come together, but we're still growing, still pushing, not satisfied.
Yeah, and I don't see you or Kelly ever. I don't think if we sat down in 15 years, hopefully we're still doing drive marketing if we can keep Corey hooked up long enough. He's a little older than me, but I think in 15 years, if we sat down and had this opportunity to visit about one of your future sales, I think that even that day you guys aren't going to be satisfied, and that's what'll move you forward, make you better. So
yep,
absolutely.
No, that's a good story. I like hearing those backstories. Let's dive in these things, Corey.
Yeah, let's this lot 2 heifer, percentage Semital female out of the cash bull.
Yep. So this heifer here, actually, a good buddy of mine, Lance Sublet, raised her, and I consulted for him and worked for him probably from the 2nd or 3rd year we moved to Oklahoma. Got his stepkids through showing. We always bought them Semitals, and he put together a really, really neat set of donors. And in last couple of years, he was really going at it. He bought this bull cash out of one of Hartman's sale, and he's a prophet on a pilgrim. So he's kind of a double bred pilgrim deal, a little bit line bred. And this is his first big calf crop. And I saw her there at Lance's and just had to have her. And then what the neat thing on the bottom side of this female, she goes back to the Elba cow, and that Elba cow happened to be Styles' sister, is what it was. Lance and his brother, just on the internet somewhere, found this female, and we looked up the pedigree, and I said, Lance, you realize what you have there, don't you? And he said, no. I said, that's Styles' sister. And he said, I'll be dang. And so we went to flushing on her, and that's where we got this one's mama. So this one's mama is a secret weapon on Styles, one of Styles' sisters, and out of that cash bull. So Prophet's son back on a secret weapon Elba.
So the secret weapon, is that the DMCC secret weapon?
That's the same secret
Mark
weapon.
Mueller in there.
Yep.
Wow.
So she's a 3/4 then, Brandon?
Yep, she'd be a 3/4.
You bet. Boy, those pilgrim cattle for Semital genetics make awful good cows, don't they?
Yeah, we love them. The last one we'll talk about here in a little bit goes back to a pilgrim, and he was just one of those bulls I thought hit. He fit for the times, and just a lot of good cow makers going to come out of that bull.
You bet. Yep, her got that big old body that you see in a lot of those pilgrim genetics. Yep.
Right.
Moving on here to lot 3. This one here, Brandon, is percentage Semital heifer that you said dang sure has caught a lot of people's eye. Yeah,
she's hard not to notice. Again, this sale, we intended on to mostly be our stuff, but I've got a couple good friends that have helped us out along the way, and I just don't like leaving them out. And so Deron and Cy Helderman, they've always been good friends of ours, Coach Cy there at Redlands, and they had this little heifer there. Actually, the first sale we did, she was running around the barn there, and I was like, hey, what are you going to do with that thing? He goes, man, I don't know. And so I convinced him to put her in our sale. Now, the weird thing is, and I'm glad we get to talk about her here, we're still trying to figure out her parentage. We know she's out of a broker daughter for sure. That was a bred heifer he had bought. And we're just trying to get everything solidified on a DNA deal through the Semital Association, which takes time sometimes. And it's been a 3-week process so far, but we're hoping by sale time we'll know just a little more about the top side of her. That's why I just put bull there on the sire part of her. But whether she's a registered Semital or not, the way I describe this one, a person could show her in the commercial division. It's probably where I would do it, because she's got some extra punch, but yet she's smooth and feminine. And you'll get in some of those clubbier ones in that commercial deal, and she'll kind of outshine them just because of her looks. Little thinner neck, little flatter shoulder than those cattle, but yet they won't outpower her because she's got some punch to her. So she's a neat complement of things. I could see a club calf person that's really into wanting to add a little maternal to the herd and just get back to the basics. This one fits right up that alley. I think she's very, very good for that.
You sent this sheet in today, and I was looking at that, and it said bull. I spent all afternoon trying to figure out what that bull was. That's good cattle right there. And I've never heard of old bull.
Yeah.
So yeah, good looking stuff right there.
Yeah, she's a neat one. She's not hard to find at all.
Right.
Yeah, she looks like she'd raised a show steer maybe too.
That's first time I saw her, that's kind of what I thought. And then you start to look at her background, and she's got a lot of maternal genetics in her background. So she's an interesting one, kind of a unique deal.
You bet. Tell us about this lot 6 out of ETR Traeger.
So
here.
Yeah, she's won that Traeger bull. He was won all right before everybody got on the red bandwagon. I was messing with my good buddy Horn. He was looking for a red bull, and the year before I had a real good red baldy that I couldn't even give away. And by God, the next year he was like, "Man, go find me a red bull. I'm looking for one." And he come across this Traeger bull at Griswold's and sent me the pedigree, and I studied, looked at the picture, and he ended up getting that bull bought and used him for a season or two. And then I needed a bull. And so he called. We were again chatting one day, and he goes, "Hey, I got that red bull around here, don't you?" I said, "No, I didn't know you still had him." He said, "Hey, come get him. We'll make a deal." And so we brokered a deal, and I acquired that bull, and man, it's been good. This is the first calf crop I've had out of him. We've got a couple keeper bulls, 3 of them actually, that we kept back just to see what they're going to do and grow like. And this set of females has been awesome. Her bottom side's just kind of a commercial semi deal. That we actually, her mom's 3 generations of our genetics, just not totally registered all the way through there. But man, talk about a burly ribbed cowy one that still has some look, that can still kind of travel and go. And probably not the biggest haired one in the world in terms of leg hair, but she's just neat. And I think you can show her and find success, but really I think pasture wise, that one's going to turn some dividends for somebody as a cow.
Good.
And that red deal dang sure has been picking up steam.
I tell you what, the last 2 years, people used to laugh at us because we show red ones. I think every year Braden showed, first 3 or 4 years, we had a red one on the screen. I think the first year we came without a red one, people kind of laughed, like, "Man, you don't have a red one this year." And then a year later, everybody wants a red one. So we hadn't quit them. We've been trying to raise red ones and just good stock in general. It didn't matter, but we have had a heart for red ones. That's what I first started off showing, was red cattle. And so it's been cool.
You bet.
What is the driving force behind red right now? Do you know? I mean, is it just a aesthetic deal, or
I think
what is the drive?
I think people are wanting something a little different. I don't know if it's the heat tolerance. I don't know if it's just we've closed the gap in some different ways in the feedlot and commercial world as well. And those red cattle are a lot more tolerable. And then really they feed just as good as the black ones do. I think where I grew up in South Texas, I call it, Southern Texas, they do better. You don't find them underneath the tree or in a pond. They're out there getting after it. And so I don't know. I just think finally people are catching wind that it don't matter what color they are, good's good. And these red ones have kind of taken off.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. This next lot's lot 8, another one of those cash daughters backed by a Steel Force cow.
Yep. So neat story on this one. Again, Lance Sublett there in Lindsay raised this heifer. We purchased this one's mama from Brock May or Bob May, yeah, Brock, I think, and who purchased it from a former judging student of mine at K-State. Oh, Christy Gable and John Jacobs actually had the cow. And so it's been a neat deal just to kind of watch this cow finally take hold. And we bred her that cash bull and it hit. This is a purebred actually on him. And this one can get and go. And she's still a little behind in terms of flesh right now, but she's built impeccably well. Awesome rib cage, good headed. She's a good female. Good female.
And she's
she's got plenty of future, lots of future looking one here,
Yeah, she does. I think really the sky's the limit. A neat thing about that cash bull for the realm that us three guys run in as well, he's soft-haired. He throws them soft-haired. And both these cash daughters in here are really good haired cattle there as well. So they be fun ones to show, but there's some cow behind them. There's some pedigree behind them that I think they raise something.
And what age is that one, Brandon?
She ends up being a February is what she is.
You bet. Yep. Sounds good. Yeah, she looks tremendous. Then lot 12 is another one of them ETR Traeger daughters.
Yeah, this one from the day she hit the ground, I told my wife we kind of got something here. Probably won't find them as good headed, as good necked. I think she's perfect pinned. I love the way her hind leg sets down. And I often forgot she caught up in terms of growth curve and always was like, man, is she getting there? Well, she's the second youngest heifer we have on the place. She's the end of April. And so she's a young one. She's neat. I really do think the sky's the limit with this one. She has done nothing but get better every day. And she's still a little green, a little skinny. The name of our sale, Road Less Traveled. I'll just tell you the inside joke on that. For me, not just our faith, but we don't move the birth dates on them. They're born when they're born. You'll see in this sale, there's a lot of April the 1st calves in here, and most people would spread those out. We don't. They were all born that day because that's when we put embryos in. We try to calve those things right after OIE. That way we're here and around and not busy. And so we call this sale Road Less Travel because we feel there's a stigma or a problem out there that sometimes it gets talked about, sometimes it doesn't, where we don't move the birth dates on them. And so we think that's rare, unfortunately, in our industry. And so that's what these are. She's a young green, a true end of April is what she is. And so, but boy, she's got all the quality and neatness in the world. Goes back to Boss Lady as well. She's out of a Grandmaster Boss Lady daughter.
I gotcha. Boss Lady, that's a little female that we talked about just prior to coming on here. There was a little bit of backstory with her, wasn't there?
Yeah, so Boss Lady was again, the good Lord takes care of the ignorant. You never thought sitting there talking to a club calf guy, Brandon Horn, and you get into the purebred Semital business, and he had this cow that ended up being a triple bred buck. I ran blood test on her just to make sure she was legit. He thought she went back to buck, and she was a buck on a buck fever. And so triple bred buck, and we flushed that cow to driver. And Boss Lady was one of the offspring off that flush. And it's been, we've shot there from there on. We've got 20 daughters out of Boss Lady in the herd. So that's why we're starting to finally let go of some of those. And hopefully folks will get the same kind of good fortune we've had with those Boss Lady daughters and granddaughters. She's been one heck of a ride. Been awesome to have her and build off of her.
Like, just to give you perspective, Brett, like there was a bull named Black Max that was like born when like you would have been born probably. Like he's probably dead before Brandon probably came along, and Buck was way before Black Max.
Oh, really?
Isn't that right, Brandon? Yeah, Buck was, I'm telling you, I was just a little kid, and I remember reading him in the ABS book and Select Sire book. Buck was a big deal. Like that would have been back in, in the early 80s. Was when Buck was in peak popularity.
Yep.
I'll be dang.
I really
Wow.
think what's cool about this Boss Lady line with our current bull battery that we have out there, it seems like y'all were talking about trendsetters the other night. Our trend for the last 10 years is, flatten their shoulders, make them prettier. Let's try to improve soundness, but we've taken a lot of power out of these cattle. I think across breeds, we've done it. And where we've always tried to, all the hog breeders always told me, make sure your females are in the middle and let your bulls do the work, create the extremes off either side. And I really do think that's where these Boss Lady daughters now have us right there in position to breed to these bulls that are longer and prettier and flatter, but we'll still keep a little more power in them than the rest, probably just because our cow herd's built off of her. And that old buck bull, that's one thing about him. That was a big, stout, open type bull. I mean, anybody you talk to that used him, that was one thing. He was a source of power, for sure.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Good.
We're going to end this deal with a bang.
Yeah.
With the lot 1 female, County O daughter, backed by one of them good old Pilgrim cows.
Yeah, this one's probably created the most conversation at the house. If you've been around my boy, he's not short of opinion, and this would have been a bred known for him. But again, I made a deal with him. I said, no, we're putting this one in the sale. We wanted to be able to share something we thought was elite. We wanted to be able to put one out there so people just won't say we're always keeping the best one for the kids, and she's one of those. So she's a Pilgrim, or her mom's a Pilgrim Boss Lady. So she's a County O on a Pilgrim Boss Lady. And just me learning how to feed show heifers, I ruined this one's mom. We showed her mom's sister. Mom was always better, but Daddy got her too fat, trying to push on her, trying to get her there too quickly, and we never did get to show the mom. And she's one of the most beautiful 4 or 5-year-olds that you'll ever see in the Semital breed. So neat fronted, so good structured, and she passed that on to her daughter. And where her daughter eclipses her, she's just a touch softer, and that streak face, she just got enough white on her to catch you. So she's a neat one. She's one that she hit an awesome picture on picture day, but as you can see, that one can get and motor and put them down. She's as good footed as they come. I don't know. I could talk about this one for days. She clicked like we thought they would when we saw County O. His athleticism, his build, we thought, boy, that'll work perfect on that cow, and it did. It did.
I'm sure glad you listened to Kelly on that too, because I've been anticipating getting to this video since we started, just because this thing's pretty high quality.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of her. She's one. Yeah, it'd be cool to keep her, but I'd love to see her getting the right home and some good hands, and that would do us a lot of good.
Right.
Sure.
Hey, so let's talk about something real quick. This sale platform, you're using SC Online.
Yep.
Okay, and November the 30th, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
correct.
That's good. It's the BKC Road Less Traveled sale, hosted by SC.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's good. Hey, what about trucking when this thing's over?
We'll try to help you line up something. I'm not gonna lie, we're kind of partial to Nick Goins. We think he does an awesome job, and I know he had an axle down at our last sale, and I hope he's back up and going now. I hadn't talked to him yet, but that's who we like to deal with. But there's also other options. We've been able to get stuff out east pretty well with a couple guys that run out to Georgia quite often, in Florida, and so there's enough people we know around. We can help you. It's just my wife gets a little angry at me if they're there for 10 to 15 days after the sale. We ain't got a plan. So my begging to the folks that buy them was, let's get together and get a plan for sure. It makes life at home a little easier.
Yeah, that's good. Well, I got to tell you, sitting here listening, I did a whole lot of listening to you and Corey go through these things, and I wrote down 3 notes tonight that I think's unique, and I really caught you going through these cattle, and you could see in the cattle, but you could really hear in your voice just how excited you are, not to sell these to somebody, but to see how these things are going to work for those people down the road. There was tons of these things that you talk cow power and presence of those cows in those pedigrees. But I'll tell you, when you told me about the name of the sale and you talked about the birth dates, it just screams integrity. And I think that's something that today that we're missing just a little bit of. if a guy's looking to go shop for a club calf today, you just heard it out of the horse's mouth. We're going to show them to you just like they are. And I mean, integrity really hit me pretty hard tonight talking to you, Brandon. So I don't know if we missed something. I want you to tell us. We can go over it.
I appreciate those comments and sentiments there. We are selling a couple embryo lots.
Okay.
There's a lot 10. I always save something special for lot 10. She didn't cooperate on picture day, but she's a sib to one we've been showing and campaigning this year. 5th overall bred known. They're junior nationals. She was bronze semi at Tulsa and champion bred known purebred semi there at Tulsa. But we're selling a couple of sets of full sib embryos or copacetics out of a cow we call BKC Blessed. She's a broker boss lady that we're pretty proud of, Red Baldy. And so we're offering those. She makes lots of good embryos. And so we had a lot of them there. And this litter has been awesome. There's about 3 or 4 of these we have already that are about to hit production this spring and have their first calves. And we're pretty fired up on them. That copacetic on that cow really, really worked. And I just love we're here to serve. We're here to help each other. I would love somebody else to reap the benefits of our genetics for sure.
Right. Good deal. Well, hey, I got to tell you, it's been good talking to you. Cell contacts is yourself and your beautiful wife, Kelly.
Yep.
I know you guys would love to visit with somebody if they have any questions. So
Sure.
Find them on SC and look them up. And Brandon, I can't thank you enough for choosing to use us Drive Marketing to help you maybe get into somebody else's home. So
I appreciate it, guys. Again, very, very thankful for what you're doing.
You bet. Well, hey, we appreciate it. And hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Y'all too.
Take
You
care,
bet.
guys.